money is creational energy. It's how human beings, like people know and understand the word manifest. I have to say at this point, I'm not a fan of that word, but they do understand the word manifest. And it's actually what human beings are designed to do. We are designed to manifest. We are designed to create. And we do that through the process of choice and consequence. And when we've got money, we've got more choices. So money as an energy is creational. It's a creational energy. And as business owners, we tend to get caught up in, I want to make my 2K months, my 5K months, my 10K months, my 6-figure business, my 7-figure business, and not understand that if they don't know why they want to make that kind of money, they're not going to make that kind of money.
Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Create Your Life. I am your host, Simone Leah. So I just wanted to let you guys know that today's interview is actually an interview that I recorded about a year ago when I ran an online event called the Soul-Led Entrepreneurs Summit. It was a really, really, really wonderful event. I had some beautiful, amazing speakers talking about things like connecting with your intuition and how you can use that in your business, how to do Facebook advertising, how to do marketing as a soul-led entrepreneur, all of these cool things to do with business, entrepreneurship, and actually also spirituality and connecting within. And so these interviews were so wonderful that I really wanted to be able to share them with you now. So if when you're watching this, you see or hear the word soul-led entrepreneurs, this is still the Create Your Life show, but these interviews were just too good for me to keep to myself any longer. So I really, really, really hope you guys enjoy this interview, and I can't wait to connect with you again soon. Hey guys, welcome back to Soul-Led Entrepreneurs. My name is Simone Leah and I am your host. I just had the absolute pleasure, and I know you hear me say this all the time, but I just had the absolute pleasure of interviewing Karen Baines from Soul Whispers, who's a conscious wealth mentor. And it was hands down one of the most informative and amazing sessions. Like, she is just beautiful. She glows from the inside out. Like, she's just a absolute wealth of energy and high vibration and information. And I literally loved this session. So Karen is a conscious wealth mentor. And so she helps people when they're not in alignment with wealth. So that was actually our conversation topic, aligning with wealth, and helping people to understand what aligning with wealth actually looks like, and the little things that you might be doing every day that are keeping you out of that alignment or that mismatch of energy. Yeah, so this was a really, really great conversation. I know you guys are going to get so much value out of it. Grab a pen and paper, because there's tiny little distinctions that you might make just in different words she might use, or different things she might explain something in a way that clicks a little bit differently. So grab a pen and paper and literally take notes, because this one is one to watch. Hey guys, welcome back to Soul-Led Entrepreneurs. My name is Simone and I'm here with Karen Baines from Soul Whispers. How are you, Karen?
I'm great, lovely. It's so good to see you on the other side of the planet.
It's so good, isn't it? I love that we can just be in different places at the same time together.
Yeah, fabulous. The internet truly is magical.
It is magical, and I feel so blessed to have you here, and I'm so looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, good. So am I. It's a great way to start my day.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It's nighttime here, it's daytime there. So today we're actually going to be talking about aligning with wealth, but I would love to start with the question of, what does being aligned in business mean to you?
To me personally, well, I kind of I live my work. So alignment in business, if you take the word alignment, I define that as you do you. Alignment is the definition of you showing up as you in your gifts in the most authentic way. And as entrepreneurs, and they're the people that I tend to hang out most with, we are designed to add value to the lives of other people through our gifts in exchange for money. So I kind of live and breathe my work, because you can't actually compartmentalize energy, and alignment and money is all about the energetics. It's all energy.
You know, I literally love that, because every single thing that happens, it's a transaction in some way. There's energy going out and energy going in. And a lot of times when people think about their offerings, they sometimes struggle with the coming back in part of that, of the pricing or the wealth. So I actually love that you brought that up. So I'm super excited to talk about this. Because how do people align to wealth and get comfortable with receiving? And yeah.
Oh, that can be one of the more uncomfortable things that I work with my entrepreneurs on. But I always start with kind of trying to flip the switch on their consciousness around it. Because if you think about money as as a transactional energy, it represents several different things. But human beings, the bottom line of it is, human beings created money so that they could exchange it for that which they value. So either things that they want to bring into their lives, like material things, like, a great place to live, a new car, like a great piece of technology, a greenhouse in the garden, whatever that material thing is, they exchange money for it because they value it. But also experiences like vacations and stuff like that they can put their physical body into. So it's an exchange of value. And money, because that's how human beings assign value, money represents value energetically. So if you come at it from the perspective of, you're not charging your worth in your business, you're undercharging for your offers, you're kind of using a kind of shrink to fit version of yourself so that clients can afford you, as it were, you're actually devaluing yourself. So if you're devaluing yourself and you're devaluing your gift by not charging your worth, you're not a vibrational match for money, because money represents value. So it's like you're literally on opposite ends of a vibrational energetic spectrum, if you like. And because we're always broadcasting, I'd say to people that there really isn't, I challenge anybody to come at me with a choice they've made or they're making, where I can't tell them how they are broadcasting by making that choice, whether or not they're available to receive money. You're either broadcasting, I'm available to receive money, or you're broadcasting, I am unavailable to receive money. And that doesn't matter whether that's in your business, in your personal life, with your health. It doesn't matter. Because as I said, you can't compartmentalize energy. So when you're making these choices, they all have an energetic frequency, and that's the language of the universe, the language of money. Kind of what I do, I guess, is I see myself as an interpreter. So if you were going to a foreign land and they spoke a foreign language and you needed to communicate with the people that lived there, your needs and wants, and wanting to know what they needed and wanted from you, you would need to hire somebody that spoke the language. And I'm that person when it comes to the energetic language of money. So I am able to teach my clients not only how they're broadcasting, whether or not they're available for money, but also how they actually learn that language themselves, so they don't need to hire me anymore to to take them on that journey. They can go, because they just know how they're constantly always broadcasting every choice they make. So back to the original question, it's about understanding that pretty much every decision, every choice that you make is going to vibrate money, or it's not. And because money vibrates at a frequency of value, if you devalue yourself, you will be devalued. And if you're a business owner, you're not going to get clients. They're not going to pay you. Or when they do pay you, they're going to whinge and whine about it. That's not cool. So does that answer the question? Kind of beat around the bush a little bit there.
Oh, I literally love it. I have like 3 more questions. I just want to ask them all. And I don't even know which one's the right order. Okay, so I definitely want to come back to, because I know you said if you don't value yourself at the right level, it won't attract things. So I do want to know a little bit about how we can actually understand where we're valuing ourselves from an ego place as opposed to an alignment place. But would it be okay to get some examples of what it looks like when someone's not broadcasting at the frequency of money and wealth?
Well, you've already highlighted one area when entrepreneurs are out there and they're saying that let's say they know that they've got they've created a course, or they've created an offer, and they know it's worth more than they're actually charging, because they're afraid that their audience may not be able to afford them. Then that's the perfect example of being out of alignment. That's one area. Money is creational energy. It's how human beings, like people know and understand the word manifest. I have to say at this point, I'm not a fan of that word, but they do understand the word manifest. And it's actually what human beings are designed to do. We are designed to manifest. We are designed to create. And we do that through the process of choice and consequence. And when we've got money, we've got more choices. So money as an energy is creational. It's a creational energy. And as business owners, we tend to get caught up in, I want to make my 2K months, my 5K months, my 10K months, my 6-figure business, my 7-figure business, and not understand that if they don't know why they want to make that kind of money, they're not going to make that kind of money. They have to be really clear on the experience they want. It's not about the money in and of itself. Your soul, which is the part of you that is constantly communicating with you so that you can do your alignment. It's like you, your soul, and the universe are always co-creating. It's like that magical 3. And then when you bring clients on board in a business, you're co-creating with them so that the universe can experience itself in new ways through you and your client. So, and that's what the universe wants. That's ultimately what the universe wants to do. And so if you don't know what experience you want when you make all this money, you're sending out misaligned broadcasts, like you're making random choices because you don't actually know where you're going or why you're doing it. And the universe just responds. The universe is reactive to everything you do. The energetic quality, the vibration, the frequency under every single thing that you do. And it reacts to that. So if you're doing random because you're confused and you don't know what you want money for, you just want money, it's just not enough. And you're going to be going around doing random stuff. And then the universe is going to be bringing you random consequences to those choices because that's all it can do. It says yes to everything you do. So you do random, you create random. So it's really important as well that the entrepreneurs understand, well, okay, if I want to make 10K consistent monthly income, 20K consistent monthly income, 6 figures, Why? And it's got to turn you on. Like, your soul needs to be excited and inspired by that, to get you out of bed in the morning, to do what is required of you, to get a little bit uncomfortable. Because the spiritual journey of an entrepreneur, and it is a spiritual journey, there's no getting away from that. Whether you believe that at your core or not, you're on a spiritual journey, and it requires courage, and it requires you to take risks. Essentially, you've signed up for fear. There's no getting away from that. So you need to be inspired. Your soul needs to be inspired, so that you have the courage to get up and do what it takes to show up for yourself, and show up for your clients, show up for your tribe, so that then the universe gets to experience itself in new ways through you. So they're probably the most common ways that people tend to broadcast in what I call a misaligned way. But I mean, the list is endless. Quite frankly, the list is endless.
So how do people start to get clearer on that alignment then? Is there like little like exercises they can do? Or because I'm just even more thinking from that level of, you get those business owners who are like, I want to make X amount of money, but then they'll make another decision that comes from a place of lack. Like, I can't afford this coffee today. You know, and to me, that's like, I want to go out and create all this money, but then there's that misalignment, and I can't afford to have the coffee, right? So how can people start to shift their way to the vibration and alignment?
If that is using that example, let's come at it from that particular example. If somebody comes to me and they're saying that to me, they are in a pretty misaligned place. They are in a place where their current reality is, the consequences of their current reality as a human being are showing them lack, because they're choosing lack. They're choosing lack, therefore they create lack, right? So in those extreme circumstances where money is really tight, I would say you need to come at it from leveraging the law. So there are going to be things that you do through the framework that I teach, which are the three commodities of alignment: money, time, and you. And there are going to be things that you can do within that framework that will leverage the law, because again, you can't compartmentalize. So if you make an aligned choice with your time that was misaligned, and you get an awareness around what that looks like, because this is the other thing as well, when it comes to the energetics of money, the universe doesn't distinguish the difference. It cannot distinguish the difference between money and time at all. It treats how you choose to spend. Notice this, it's the same word: spending your time doing something, spending money doing something. It treats those two things exactly the same. So if money's tight and you've gotten so kind of contracted around it that you're not even able to have the courage and the wherewithal to go and buy yourself a coffee, then I would be like, okay, let's look at the other commodities that we've got at our disposal. Because when you start making aligned choices with time, the universe will respond to that. It will respond to it with new consequences. So you'll find that you'll have consequences dropping in around your business as a happy byproduct of the fact that you made more aligned choices with time. Like, money is a happy byproduct of alignment. It is it is tangible, natural evidence of whether you are aligned or not. So once you can kind of get your head around those three commodities of alignment and make sure that you're moving the needle every day on all of those areas, the universe just says, hell yeah, here you are, have some more of that, have some more of that, have some more of that, have some more of that. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you became an entrepreneur, one of the reasons why you became an entrepreneur was to create financial freedom. It's one of the most common target energies that I work with clients is freedom. Okay, so let's say, for example, it's freedom, but you don't even feel that you have the freedom in your life currently to buy yourself a coffee. Then I would say, okay, well, let's look at your life. Let's look at your how you're spending your time. How can you choose more freedom with your time so that you are broadcasting in a new way to the big you that you're available for freedom? And then the universe reads the frequency of you choosing freedom versus obligation, and it responds with, yes, here's some more freedom, instead of, yes, here's some more obligation. And because you are designed to create a business in it, like through adding value to the lives of other people through your gifts, and you're choosing freedom, and money represents freedom for you, it moves the needle on everything. Do you see? So you can leverage the law in other ways, but the universe doesn't compartmentalize those ways. One of the biggest issues that my clients find me with is that they're doing all this obligation in their lives and their businesses and wondering why they're not making any money. But money is not like the energy of obligation is the opposite of the energy of freedom. And money is not friends with obligation. It's friends with freedom. Again, it's about the vast difference between the vibrational frequency that you're actually operating at. This isn't about mindset. This isn't about happy thought thinking and positive thinking. You can bypass all of that by just getting in tune and understanding the energetic language of money and grounding that as practical steps every single day. And then the mindset just doesn't come into it. That's the case of you're just going to have to learn to navigate the resistance, navigate the ego, because that egoic resistance will, it's natural. If you're going for a vibrational shift, your ego is going to go into a tailspin. It's going to get scared. It's going to want to hold you back. And it's going to start throwing all the things in front of you as to why that's not the way to go, because you've never been there before and it's not safe. That's all it's trying to do. So understanding that vibrational shift it goes hand in hand with egoic resistance, but then knowing that, being conscious of it and going anyway and learning to navigate through that egoic minefield only takes about 6 weeks. And then the ego gets on board with you and hey, there you go, vibrational shift. All the cosmic tumblers fall into place and you start manifesting, if you love that word, up the wazoo. You can't help it. That's how it works.
I literally love that. And I've never even heard about that, like little sneaky little bypass. And instead of putting the energy into the money you want to create, put it into the end result, which is the freedom, and start to see more of the freedom, and don't even think about the obligation and the money. Like, let that go.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what about if you've got an entrepreneur who's got the reverse situation? So they think that they feel abundant and joyful and light, yet they keep having clients coming to them saying, I can't afford it. So
so that's a scenario usually where they're probably making misaligned choices outside of their business. So if they've got, there's a couple of things that could be going on there. When you get to a situation where your clients are saying they can't afford your services, it's your responsibility to yourself, to your clients, and to the big you and your very soul to hold that level of vibration, regardless of what your clients, regardless of what your current clients are saying. Because your current clients, the ones that are saying no, they're just misaligned clients. That's all that is, misaligned clients. So you've got to have the courage to hold that vibration and let those clients go so that you become a vibrational match for the new clients that are operating at that level. So often with my entrepreneurs, if that starts becoming the response that they're getting when they're having their sales calls, it's like, okay, well, we're ready for a vibrational shift here. Your soul has gotten bored with your current vibration. When was the last time you put your prices up? I mean, it sounds insane. If your clients are saying no, I can't afford you, and I'm saying, when did you last put your prices up? People are kind of thrown back by that. But the point is, you are being devalued in your experience because somewhere you're devaluing yourself. And we need to find that. And it may not be in the business. It could be in relationships. You could be showing up as a doormat in a relationship somewhere. You could be overgiving. You could be overgiving in your business with your clients or in other life areas. Because again, that's about devaluing yourself, devaluing your experience. That's the powerful commodity that you are as a human being. If money vibrates at a frequency of value and you devalue yourself by overgiving and choosing a less than experience for you, you're not vibrating a frequency of money. You're devaluing you, you will be devalued. And they can say they can't afford you and whatever. That's how it shows up for them. But then you've got a responsibility to hold that vibration. And you do that without an attachment to the outcome as best you can. You do that and you will become a vibrational match for the people that can afford you. But that's usually what I call a transitional. It's a transitional situation.
Which I actually love, because most people would think they need to transition down.
So
I love that. Yeah.
And it's great to have offers in place that, you know, that clients can still experience your value. But when it gets to that point, you need to be looking at having those, like maybe doing a little bit more in the nuts and bolts zone for a little while and just getting that back end sorted so that you've got something that's automated, so that you're still able to show up as your best self. Because remember what I said, time. The universe can't distinguish the two. It cannot distinguish between how you assign value with your time and how you assign value with your money. So if you're spending time serving clients that are a lower vibration to you, then you are making misaligned choices with your time. So create something so that they can experience you at a price point that works for them, but that doesn't actually take up any of your time. So that's about automating. That's about streamlining, maybe even delegating, you know, but it's about finding ways to do that. And really, for the majority of entrepreneurs that have been in business for, say, I don't know, maybe less than 2 years, even 3 years, that's the stuff that comes a bit later on. We want to get, like, in terms of the clients that I work with, I want to create a vibrational shift with them so that their new experience and their new experience of money and what that looks like is actually grounded and sustainable. You know, there's no room for feast or famine if you're going to work with me. I want consistent, sustainable results for clients, you know, and there is a framework around time that I teach my clients. That means that when you break your how you operate within your business in this framework, and you break that down in terms of your time, you've got all your ducks in a row. You've got like these 4 time zones, I call them time zones. You've got these 4 time zones where at any given moment in your business, you're vibrating at a frequency that will naturally create money in your business. But the most important part is that you spend more time vibrating at a frequency that is your gift, what you're designed to do, by adding value to clients, and less time doing the nuts and bolts of the business. Because the nuts and bolts of the business, although they're absolutely vital, they vibrate at a lower frequency than doing your gift. And often entrepreneurs, they tend to, by the time they find me, they often are spending like 60-70% of their time doing the nuts and bolts, and they're spending 20-30% of their time doing their gift, and then they're out of whack. And then they're like, and if money is a happy byproduct of alignment, and it's more aligned to spend time doing your gift than it is to doing the nuts and bolts, they're wondering why they're not getting the bums on seats. They're wondering why they're not making the money. And often that's one of the reasons. And I think it's about kind of really getting clear on all of those components, getting that grounded so it's sustainable and they understand it, and then following the breadcrumbs of alignment. The universe, because of the way we create, which is through choice and consequence, you track your evidence and you master your own creational process. You are able to see the broadcasts that you get back from the universe and use them as a sat nav on what needs to happen next. What's aligned, what's out of aligned, what's part of my old vibration, what's part of my new vibration, what's part of my current vibration. And I mean, like, it's very empowering to be able to come at business and life, quite frankly, from that space.
Yeah, I literally love that. And I think that for me, I'd love to get your take on this. I feel that when I'm aligned, I feel expansive.
Absolutely.
So I feel like the more time you spend in that expansive state, that's where your majority of business time should be spent. Whereas when you're doing the nuts and bolts and you don't feel expansive and you're sitting there counting down the minutes, that's where you should be spending the least amount of time. And that's kind of how I measure it. If I'm doing anything at all, I'm like, do I feel expansive right now? Yeah, I do. This rocks, you know. Yeah. How would you speak to even understanding those subtle cues in yourself?
Well, I talked about freedom as one of the most powerful, not even the most powerful, it's just one of the most common target energies, what I call target energies, that my clients tend to show up with. And these target energies, they change. So there's a vibrational shift available for everybody every 3 to 5 months. And when I talk about vibrational shift as a business owner, a vibrational shift that has been grounded and is sustainable looks like a new income level. Okay. And it takes 3 to 5 months to ground that in so that it's normal, because it's not sustainable until it's normal. Okay. So every 3 to 5 months, knowing what your target energy is, and then making sure that as many of your choices feel like that, that's how you become a vibrational match for that next income level. And what you're talking about is a target energy, if you will, of expansion. I mean, and that may change in 3 to 5 months' time. It may well, but it might not. But I do find usually that a client will have if they're doing the work, then after 3 to 5 months, once they've grounded in their new level, that target energy will change, because actually what's happened is they've embodied it. That's how they've created the new income level, is because they've embodied the target energy. So it is about identifying that target energy in your, expansion, again, it's another really common one. Freedom, expansion, empowerment, ease, effortless, all of, like, they're all quite common. I get some really amazing ones and some strange ones that I'm like vibrant. I've had that. They're like, there's a myriad of target energies, but if you can identify that and then make sure that everything you do, not just in your business, but everything you do feels as close to that as possible, then you're making the choices, and that's the frequency that you're vibrating at, and the universe reads that frequency and says, here you are, have some more. And then it brings you more opportunities to choose that frequency. That's how we create, that's how we manifest.
I literally love this. This is the amazing conversation, one of the best conversations ever.
Oh, thank you.
This is amazing. So what about if someone, they come from that very mainstream business thing of working back? So what I mean when I say that is they've seen what people say, and they're like, you want to earn 200K a year, that's going to equal X amount an hour, price all your stuff at X amount an hour, and that's what your program's worth, right? So you've got those entrepreneurs that are pricing that way. How do they start to price in alignment with themselves and the wealth frequency?
Oh, wow, that is a great question. To be honest, one thing I will say, if that really is how they've been operating their business, and they're listening to this, then they really need to contact either you or me, because their soul is clearly telling them that's not going to work. Even if it worked for a little while, it's not going to work anymore. So that's one thing I want to say. And the reason I say that is because people that operate like that in their businesses, they're not usually a vibrational match for what I do. And if they have been operating like that and they're listening to this, or they find me, then that's because the universe wants them to have a new understanding of what's really going on. So I want to say that out loud first. When I'm working with an entrepreneur, I will usually want to know what the offers are that they're putting out there, and we kind of reverse engineer it. So there will be, it will start with, okay, how much money do you want to make? So that we've got that, it's like that intention. You need to have an intention in order to create something, right? So I do start with the money amount and the time frame. Again, 3 to 5 months. You're going to need a minimum of 3 to 5 months to create something that's grounded and sustainable, right? So that's the time frame, and then you find out the amount. Then I'm going to want to know, okay, well, what are your current offers? What are the things that, and then we really kind of dive deep into those. The next question might be, okay, well, you've got an offer, maybe you're going to do a group program, you're going to charge, I don't know, £3,000 for it, or dollars, or Australian dollars for it, whatever it is. You want to charge that for it. How many people do you want to get onto that program? And then when they actually, because often people don't do the maths, and they need to understand that in order to be able to become a vibrational frequency for the kind of money they want, it's not just about the offers and the money. Like if they suddenly say to me, well, I'm going to need 30 people on that course to get that money, that's fine. But do you have the capacity and the energetic bandwidth to serve 30 people? If you have, great. But if you don't, then that's misaligned and we've got to find another way. And if you don't know, then let's go back and look at this. And then it's like getting the calendar out and looking at how many clients can you serve optimally in a week, so that you're, because as soon as you start serving clients from a place of being sort of out of bandwidth, from a place of you're in obligation, you are serving from a place of being energetically overdrawn. And how's that going to show up in a bank account? As being overdrawn. It's the, you can literally, you can track it. It shows up there. It takes a little bit longer, but it will show up there. So it really is about making sure that an entrepreneur is really comfortable with their pricing, how much they're charging, they're honoring and valuing their work. They've got offers that they're excited about. You know, the other thing I say to my clients is, you know, it's great and it is important to kind of serve clients and so that they get the best experience out of what they're buying. But honestly, the way that they're going to do that is by you making sure that you are experiencing what you want to experience within that container. You need to be so in love with your offer that when you're delivering it, you're vibrating at that frequency, because when you're vibrating at that frequency, that's when that vital force energy is just flowing through you. That's when you are co-creating with the universe and everybody around you, and it's like your gift triggers their gift and everybody's operating at that frequency. If you show up and you've got an offer that you're bored with, or maybe you're a little bit kind of disinterested in, or if you've made it all about, well, my clients, they'll pay me if I do that, and it's more about your clients than it is about you, you're on a hiding to nowhere. And that's the truth. So it's about loving what you're delivering. It's about being clear on the price point that works for you, that values you, that's slightly on the outside edge of your comfort zone as well. You don't want to be, I say to my clients, if you're comfortable with your prices, you're not charging enough. And it's as simple as that. It's one of those conversations that, if they say, well, I'm charging, I don't know, $997 for an hour's consultation with me, and I'm like, well, how do you feel about that? And they're like, yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, well, it's not enough then, put 500 quid on it. It really is that simple. And that's the challenge, you know, and you get the pushback. But when you really truly get this, when you really understand that every choice you make is broadcasting to the universe, and the universe always says yes. If you are choosing misalignment, and money is a happy byproduct of alignment, you're not going to make any money, or you're going to experience a plateau, and then the income's going to drop out, you know. And it's often easier for an entrepreneur to step into that version of themselves when they really do understand what they're doing energetically, how they're broadcasting, the conversation that they're having every minute of every day with money.
Yeah. So even just getting more clear around that awareness of what you're doing in every moment, regardless of whether it's in your business or out of your business, you
Absolutely.
know, it's those little 1% things that you might miss. But if you were working with someone like yourself, you would catch it and be like, that's a little shift there. Which Absolutely. I love that. So if someone does want to start to shift and get into that place of alignment, I love that we've talked about kind of getting into and away from that feeling of obligation, for sure. Definitely. I totally like that, definitely lands. Are there other things that they can do to really start to get into that place of alignment with their offers that they are placing? And I do also love that you really mentioned the fact of like, do you even have the bandwidth to service the 300 or 500 people you need for the income that you want? So I love that. So what are some things that people can really start to um, think about and become aware of to help them align in a little bit more with those frequencies of wealth?
The most powerful thing that they can do, probably right this minute when they get off listening to your amazing event, or even if they've got a little bit of time when it's over this evening, is this: anywhere you're ignoring your money, stop. So here's the thing: if you don't want to deal with your money, the universe responds with yes. If you don't want to deal with your money, there'll be no money for you to deal with, right? We ignore what we don't want in our lives. If you're walking down the street and you've got someone coming towards you that you don't want to engage with, you don't want to speak with, you're going to do everything you can to get the heck out of that situation. You're going to avoid them. You're going to ignore them. You're going to dive into the nearest store. We ignore what we don't want in our lives. Every single person that is listening to this conversation, I have never, ever, ever had this conversation with anybody where we haven't been able to find somewhere they're ignoring their money. There's always somewhere. Now, some of the most obvious places are not looking at your bank accounts, not knowing what your average income is, not knowing what your average expenses are. But the thing that will probably pop for you, because normally when I have this conversation with people, it's the first couple of things that might drop into their head as I'm talking. It's anything that you've been putting off and thinking, oh, I'll do that when I've got more time, or when I make the money and I can, I'll do that. Not paying bills because you're afraid to let money go. Even though you've got the money to pay the bill, you've kind of got that mindset of, well, if I pay it, then the money will be gone and I might need it for something else. That is one of the most common, most misaligned things you can do, because it interrupts the law of circulation. And the law of circulation is one of the other laws that governs us, and it will shut you down. Okay, so anywhere you're ignoring money. So like I said, some common things are how many, not checking your bank accounts, regardless of how afraid you are to do it, regardless of how uncomfortable it is to do it. Because here's the thing: before you spend it, money resonates to the frequency of responsibility and power. And if you're a business owner and you don't know what's going on with your money, that is irresponsible. So you are not aligned with money. When you go and deal with your money, the things that you've been putting off with your money, you're taking responsibility, and that naturally moves the needle of alignment. And I literally had a conversation with somebody about this a couple of weeks ago. It's quite a high, we're talking about a high level entrepreneur who's involved in a big joint venture situation, like promotion for his joint venture partner in a circle. We're talking like the names like Christian Michelson, Rob Goyette, who was the other one, Evan Pagan. Like, that's the level that he's playing at. And he was number 16 on what they call the leaderboard. And he had this conversation with me. We identified the place that he was ignoring his money, and he didn't actually do anything about it immediately. And he was watching his place on the leaderboard, and he was number 16, and there was nothing else he could do. It was 24 hours to go till cart close. And he's like, oh, I might as well just get this done, do this, that, like what Karen said, because basically what I said to him, if you don't do it, you're leaving money on the table. You're just leaving money on the table. Just get it done. And he did it. He made 27,000 extra pounds. He's in the UK, so it's pound. 27,000 extra pounds in that week, and shot up to number 8 on that leaderboard. The people that were in front of him, we're talking really high level players in our industry. And that was because he did what he'd been putting off, just hadn't gotten around to it for no other reason than, you know, it's a bit of a pain. It's one thing I don't really want to do, you know, getting an accountant, talking to a bookkeeper, shredding the piles and piles of paperwork that build up because you're worried about identity fraud, moving your internet subscription to somebody else because they've got a better deal. And it's not about saving money or budgeting. This is not about that. Absolutely, you're likely to save anything up to 10% by doing your due diligence around all of this stuff. Absolutely you are. But the bottom line of it is that if you've been ignoring your money, the universe can only respond with yes, which is no money. And the second you move that needle, and you do that in a way that it has got a lot of energetic power in it, because it's something that's kind of gathered a lot of misaligned energy, it's like you break it free and you move that needle, and bang, in come the clients, in come the new opportunities, in come the phone calls, in comes the 27K. You know, that is the most powerful thing that anybody can do, and they can do that right at the end of this call.
I love that. Thank you. That is amazing. And I love that you said it's not even necessarily about, about what it necessarily is. It's more just about the action of not ignoring it.
Exactly.
You know?
Taking responsibility.
Yeah, taking responsibility. And I feel like there's a lot of other ways that we can take that advice on, which will help to shift that as well, like taking responsibility with our time. Because as you're saying, the universe doesn't differentiate between time and money. So if you're wasting your time and ignoring your time, that's also something you could look at as well there, I feel like.
Absolutely.
So I feel like that really worked to lead into what my next question would have been, which is, what are the top 3 tips you would recommend for someone wanting to align with wealth? I feel like that is definitely tip number 1.
That's definitely tip number 1. If you don't do anything else and you do that, you will see evidence.
Yeah.
I suppose one of the other tips would be to track evidence.
Yeah.
Every time you make a new choice, the universe reads the frequency, the energy underneath the choice, and responds with yes. Because as far as it's concerned, you must want that, otherwise you wouldn't be choosing it. You know, human beings have a perception of good, bad. The universe has no perception of that. It doesn't understand that. If you're doing, like, the universe is designed, like the law of attraction states that like attracts like, and the law of attraction is one of the laws that governs us. So like attracts like, or as I like to say it, the universe says yes. So if you're doing an energy, whether it's obligation, guilt, sacrifice, resentment, joy, love, empowerment, expansion, freedom, the universe just reads that frequency and says, hell yeah, here you are, have some more. That's it. That's how it works. That's how we create. It's how human beings are designed to manifest. That's the manifestation process broken down into like 101. That's it. So I would say that when you bear that in mind, every choice you make will by definition have a consequence. When you do something, the universe says yes, and it brings you a new opportunity to do more of that, a consequence. And it's either going to feel great and be really aligned, or it's going to feel rubbish. Or it's probably going to feel a little bit near. and you're not really going to notice it. In which case it is evidence, but that's more about evidence of routine. Okay. So the stuff that, like, people say to me, how do I know it's evidence? If I'm tracking evidence, how do I know it's actually evidence? Well, it's evidence because you noticed it. If you didn't notice it, it's like, it's not out of the ordinary. You notice something when it's out of the ordinary. And every single thing that shows up that you notice when you start to have an awareness around this, that's how you track your evidence, because then you can literally reverse engineer how you chose that, because the energetic frequency will be the same.
Okay, I love that.
It's just about understanding that. You can make that a habit. I think the third one is leveraging the law. So go, like, if you're working with the 3 commodities of alignment, which are money, time, and you've taken care of money, because you're going to go and do the first thing, which is you're going to stop ignoring it. Okay, you're tracking your evidence so that you can see what choices you're making and how powerful you are, because you'll see how you create. The third thing to do would be to go and choose one of the other commodities. I think go and look at your time and ask, and like tune into that target energy, if you will, and say, okay, well, how can I choose that with my time? What can I change in my schedule, the way I operate within the 24 precious hours that are given to me every single day? How can I make just some small shifts? And we're only talking about an hour. You don't want to play with more than 5 hours a month, and you want to do it incrementally. So you really want to play with 1 or 2 hours at a time. Otherwise you run the risk of going into what I call overstretch, and overstretch is misaligned. So you maybe take a couple of hours in your schedule, and you say, okay, well, how could I choose more freedom? It could be that you start later in the day or you finish earlier. It could be that that you spend time, I don't know, doing something with your family instead of scrolling through Facebook or social media. It, like, there'll be a way that you can choose freedom, more freedom. It could be going to that exercise class, or going and hooking up with a girlfriend and having a coffee, or going on a date night or something. Tune into, if it's freedom you're playing with, tune into, what will I do when I'm making all this money? And choose a small version of that with your time. And if that's not floating your boat, look at the other commodity, the powerful commodity of you. And that's boundaries. That's all about self-value and self-worth. Is there a powerful conversation that you can have with a loved one, or a client, or, I don't know, a family member, where you can reset and enforce a new boundary that values you a little bit more than you're allowing yourself to be valued right now? Or it could be the relationship you've got with yourself. It could be that you say, okay, well, how can I value myself more? It could be something as simple as, like, making sure you're drinking more water every day, or going for that walk, or getting off the sugar or the booze or the coffee. It could be something really simple, but it's going to be, you're going to know what it is. You're going to know, because it would have been something that's been nagging at you and nagging at you and nagging at you. And those ones, lovelies, are the keys that unlock the next income level. The ones that you can't let go, you can't delegate, you can't streamline it or automate it. You've got to take responsibility for it yourself and get it done.
Yeah.
And it won't let you go till you do.
I literally love all of this. I feel like we need to do a 2-hour interview.
No, I'll come back.
This is amazing. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. And thank you for just letting me wax lyrical about what I do, and like, because it lights me up every day.
Honestly, you can see that it lights you up, and there's so much passion and joy and high vibration there. And everything you're saying is so transformational. I feel like if someone isn't watching this interview with a pen and paper, they need to watch it again. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there's so many just little things and little words and little perspective shifts that you can gain from actually just taking in this conversation of what you've said, because some of the stuff you say, it is just the one percenters of, you might say one word different to me and I'm like, oh, that's another level, oh, that's another level. So where can people find you if they want to continue this conversation with you?
Well, they can find me on my website, which is www.soulwhispers.uk, not .co.uk, just .uk. And there's a lot more about me there and my work, and how they can contact me. They can contact me on my Facebook business page, which is Soul Whispers, and Karen Baines, Conscious Wealth Mentor. They can find me on Facebook Messenger. They can send me a little, they can send me a little voice note or a friend request. I'm very picky about who I let into my orbit, but if they drop your name, they'll be fine. I'm not really on social media that much. So they're the ways that they'll be able to find me, and probably Messenger is going to get the quickest response.
Yeah. I love that. Messenger, and go to the website. Check out the website. Check out what Karen's doing, because honestly, you'll learn something, anything, because it's just amazing. And the fact of just how joyful and passionate you are, it's just an absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you today. And I'm so overjoyed now. I hope everyone goes and finds you.
Oh, so do I. It would be lovely to meet everyone.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. It's so greatly appreciated.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Simone. It was a pleasure.